Heaven's Gates, aliens modified, men from apes, JFK shot in the head by the CIA, Bigfoot and the Mothman, Son of Sam talking to dogs again, witches, ghosts and goblins, mysterious noise and hauntings, dark arts in the skull and bones. Most celebrities are probably cloned, so if you're feeling all alone, crack a beer and get stoned. I welcome you to the podcast Strange Brew. We're here to entertain you. We're here to entertain you.
It's about to get strange.
But so it's part 2. Is it acceptable to do another dad joke?
Yeah. It counts as another
accepted.
episode.
So I gave my kids like one. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. So yeah, the kids were blowing the whistle inside the house. I told them to stop and I warned them. I gave them one last chance, but they blew it.
It's so dumb, man.
We'll do it live.
That's the point.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So we don't get to do this that often.
You're getting bombed, eh?
I'm gonna have some fireball. So for all the fans that are listening that have listened since we used to get plastered on this show, I'm not gonna get plastered, but I'm gonna get a nice buzz on. So this should be a fun time. We are back with part 2 of Richard Ramirez. I have my own dad joke I heard the other day. Made me laugh, made me chuckle quite hard. Do you want to hear it?
Is it a dad joke then if you laughed? All right, go for it.
Okay. How was the first copper wire invented? Like, how did they make the first copper wire? It was 2 Jews fighting over a penny. Oh, that's so funny. Oh man. So yeah, we are back with Richard Ramirez part 2. If you missed part 1, we talked about his childhood in the lead up the highway to hell, so to speak. Everyone should remember this nice haircut that he had. He was a disturbed youth, and you can listen to the first part to understand more about his childhood and how he grew up. So just to get this started, let's get us back in the mood of Richard Ramirez and the serial killer vibes, and let's play another clip of the infamous Night Stalker.
In the summer of 1985, the Texas drifter descended like a deadly disease on a hot California night. A one-man epidemic of madness and murder, one of America's first serial killers to be given a brand name, the Night Stalker.
Lock your doors, lock your windows. If you have the ability to provide additional security devices, then by all means do so.
Who wants to be next? I don't. No one else does.
He preyed on both women and men, young and old. He slipped through windows, slit throats, raped, tortured, and killed.
What he did to me has been the total destruction of my life and my girlfriend's life.
Former computer engineer Bill Carnes, one of Ramirez's many victims. One night, Carnes and his girlfriend were assaulted in their bed. The woman was raped and Bill Carnes shot 3 times in the head. Bill Carnes ended up in a group home with a bullet still lodged in his brain.
He stole my memory, he took my girlfriend, he took my career. This was just an unprovoked attack.
But after dozens of such attacks, police identified their suspect, and on the morning of August 1st, 1985, Richard Ramirez's picture ran on front pages, and within hours, angry residents of this East LA neighborhood spotted, captured, and then severely beat Richard Ramirez as he tried to steal a car to evade police.
We're happy to announce that the individual we have in custody is Richard Ramirez.
Yes, we'll be getting to all of that. So let me crack open the fireball.
I like how they're like, if you...
What?
I'm back. I keep lagging out.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Said I'm back. I lagged out for a minute. It'll eventually stop. It'll just be fine in like 2 seconds, I promise.
Okay, let's hope so. Yeah, so
I like how they're like, if you have the money to buy.
Yeah. Are you still lagging?
I keep talking and then apparently you're not hearing me.
No, it's lagging.
Then you just talk over.
Oh man,
Fuck.
what's wrong with you?
Why can't things go right?
Because you have bad juju. That's why.
What did I do? I've done nothing wrong.
Have you prayed to your Lord and Savior?
I didn't do that, and I didn't think there was no section in the Bible where they talked about internet connection. I didn't know that was in his realm.
I love Satan.
Jesus.
I like in the click though, it was, or in the clip you just showed, it was like if you have extra money to physically be able to buy like security cameras and stuff, do it. But if you don't have the money, then you're just like kind of screwed. Is that what they were getting at?
Yeah. So yeah, this is we are back with the Night Stalker. Pretty exciting stuff. We are live, everybody. Hopefully Billy is not too laggy, and
You know the Night Stalker. Remember that guy?
I remember. You remember?
So let's get into it. Obviously, if you were here with us last time, you'll remember all about the beginnings, the highway to hell, as we talked about, of one of the most infamous serial killers of all time, Richard Ramirez, who claimed many victims and had no remorse and went full tilt in berserker mode. And we'll be getting to that at some point, but we'll take it off from where we left off. Essentially, he supposedly abducted, that we know of, a little girl, it wasn't fun. So
that was the beginning of the whole.
Yeah, he started ramping up.
massacres.
He was abused as a kid. His father beat him with baseball bats. Then his father's like, I didn't do that, but he did. And then one day Richard grabbed the bat, and then he started beating his dad, and then they just beat off each other. It was a fun time. That's what Mexicans do.
Don't you talk about my family that way.
You're looking clear and crystal now. That's good. You look very white today, I said before we live streamed.
Dude, it's bad, man. So yeah, we'll tell people sorry for my lighting in general. So yeah, yet another thing that possibly could go wrong. Come back and yeah, every freaking light bulb in this goddamn place except for one blue. So I got this weird ass lamp in the back. But
nice. You kind of look like you're in the 80s vibe. Like it does feel like that vibe.
Well, of course it does. I'm in a freaking camper from the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. So so we're just gonna pick it off where we left off on the night of June 28th, 1984. After shooting up some cocaine and smoking some pot, he wandered into the small Los Angeles suburb of Glassell Park. Seeing an apartment with a window open, he removed the screen and slipped quietly inside. Slipped and slide. He because originally what they were starting to call him, eventually when they start to ramp up, he always wanted the name the Night Stalker, but he didn't get it. He actually liked Night Prowler because of AC/DC. But so he's kind of just started taking kind of opportunity when he could to kind of start branching out into this criminal life, because obviously, as we talked about, he loved seeing dead photos of Vietnamese women that his cousin did horrible things to when he was in Vietnam, and he was fascinated by that. And then obviously his cousin did what he did to his wife in front of Richard Ramirez at a very young age. So it kind of rubbed off on him and being like, I like that.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know we were allowed to do that.
So and it's so funny because there is a lot of serial killers that did join the army or were part of the army. As weird as it is, Jeffrey Dahmer was. John Wayne Gacy might have been, or like the Navy. There a lot of people were in that. The thing is, they never got to see combat, which I feel like if you want a soldier, I feel like a serial killer, like something like a little psychopath. You don't know if they're gonna be a serial killer yet, but like, if you're gonna you can imagine if you had an army of Richard Ramirez's, then Ukraine might finally win against the Russians, which I don't think they're going to. But think about it, right?
That's terrifying. There was actually I was actually going to talk to you about that. There was an Amber Alert here in Miramichi. Just went off on my phone like 9 times today. So basically, I didn't have any information or anything, but at first they were just like, "Hey, lock your doors! Like everyone lock up! Like this guy's armed, dangerous." And we thought it was going to be like another Alan Leisure type of thing. But Sorry, lagging a bit. I go talk to some people, like they're like, "Oh, do you know who that was?" And I was like, "No." And they're saying that he was known for raping a bunch of little girls out on the reserve, and somebody just took matters into his own hands and fucking killed that guy. And then the guy that killed him was out wanted, saying he's out. Like everyone, like they made this big like media presence saying that like, oh, he's the dangerous one.
Of course, it's just so funny because, like, you know, in Canada, right, like you have no right to protect yourself, but because they, like, you know, a lot of crime is happening, it's gone through the roof, and to be honest, somebody hurt my child, I don't know what I would do. I would probably fly right off the handle because it's not fair. You know, it's happening all over the UK. I'm not going to get to this stuff because it makes me very, very angry. Sorry for that accent.
Wild though.
Yeah, we live in wild times. It's probably only gonna get worse. That's why this is to me, this is light and fun, man. Talking about a murderer that just slaughtered people in their homes and snuck through the windows seems kind of light in the avenue of how
light
dark
and fun. Light and fun, eh?
Just kidding. So, and we haven't really deep dive into a serial killer. So I really want to do Richard Ramirez justice. So we decided to do 2 parts. There's no way we'd be able to cover it all. We'd be here for like 4 hours. So he sees the window open. You know, he's just smoking his cocaine, smoking a little pot, or he's shooting up cocaine. So he's injecting it into his vein. That's fun. And he's smoking pot. So, you know, going right to the vein, finds this wandering around aimlessly, sees that apartment window open. He slips inside. Sleeping there was 79-year-old Jeannie Vincow. Ricky went through her things quietly, but the woman had nothing of real value that he could steal, standing over her bed as she slept. So just imagine this guy just like standing over your bed, just like quietly breathing as you're as you're trying to sleep. Well, you would be asleep, and that's you know, just taking selfies in your bathroom, like you don't know what he's doing in there.
Who made that photo?
I don't know. It's so weird. All the audio listeners, it's Richard Ramirez, but he's like in a bathroom taking like a selfie on a cell phone he wouldn't have had at that time. But he would be a scary guy to have like popping just like over your bed, and you wake up and you think it's like a shadow man, but no, it's Richard Ramirez. He's real. It's a real guy. So
I appreciate that image. Thank you. I'm very happy to think about that while I'm going to bed tonight.
Just gonna think about it. And his stinky, stinky bad breath is like terrible, terrible bad breath because his gnarly teeth. Yeah.
You think he brushes though?
He had halitosis. He had halitosis.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that now. Yes.
His like mouth was rotting from the inside, man. So it is crazy. Imagine how long you'd have to go to not. He's definitely not brushing his teeth ever. You know,
that's like probably like the biggest like disgusting thing. Like you can have any dysmorphia condition, anything, and like nothing's like actually as gross as fucking gross breath and teeth. I hate it.
Think so? What about like a really stinky vag? Because I've experienced that. Not like beside me, beside me. And it was like
I love it. That was a quick clarification. Nice.
You know, but the only thing
but like teeth, you can't like hide it at all. There's no like, like I don't want to talk to you. If someone has bad breath, like I'm immediate. Like you can be the nicest man in the world. I'm not talking to you anymore. We're done. This conversation's over. I don't want to smell that.
The only thing that Richard Ramirez flosses with is panties of dead women that he murdered.
Yeah, see, that might be where the halitosis came from. You think? Maybe?
A serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, so he finally could fulfill. He realized he's staying over there. He's like, I can fulfill my fantasy. I can do this, man. I can become I can kill, you know? So death would be her payment. He stabbed her left breast, then slit her throat, nearly decapitating her. There was so much blood, he ran his hands down the sides of her bed, the blood lubricating the sheets and her skin. There was that much blood. At some point, he subjected her to sexual assault. Not thinking about leaving DNA there, crime scene forensic teams were far away from essentially identifying semen. So he laughed softly as he left. The euphoria of the killings was like nothing he's ever experienced. He knew it was only a matter of time before he did it again. And he did. It took 10 months, but Ricky followed a woman into a garage as she pulled her car in after work. She was surprised to see him there, but the 22-year-old Maria Hernandez had only moments to think before she raised her pistol. He raised his pistol to shoot her. So she held her hands in front of her face, and the bullet deflected off of her car keys. Dude.
Wild.
Is there a God? Is she praying to Jesus? Because like, that's crazy, man.
What do you have on your car keys? Like, you think it would just go right through that? Like, it shouldn't deflect the bullet.
Pretty sure he was using a 22, so he was using like the shitty pistol, right? So like,
still, they're car keys.
I know. Pretty crazy. Like, what a turn of fate, right?
Like, and actually, well, think about it too. How strong are you holding those keys? Because like the pressure from the bullet would immediately like it would turn it. Like you don't have iron fist to like hold that shit steady.
I know.
A serial killer who only kills people who eat cereal.
Stupid.
Stupid.
So she dropped to the ground, playing dead, which is kind of smart, as Ricky continued to go into her condo where her roommate, Daily Okazaki, whatever. I'm not going to pronounce it. Some of them are
nailed it.
Names. I'm sorry to the victims. If your families, if you're I don't know why you'd be listening to this. If
I can't imagine you would be,
but I apologize if I'm some about last names always seem to get me. Maria rolled out from under her car where she was hiding and ran across the alley. Right as Ricky was coming out of her condo, she begged for her life, and for some reason he spared her. Unfortunately, he did not spare Dale. It's Dayle, Daily. So that's sure I'm gonna call it Dan. Who is lying in an ever-growing pool of thick blood, so dark it later described by an officer on the scene as almost black. She had been shot in the head and died immediately. That's lucky considering what you kind of could have went through, because it could be worse. That's from one of the crime scenes.
Is that go back?
That's legit. I don't know what the hell that is in the corner, but
yeah, that's what I was looking at too. Like, is that what the fuck is that?
I don't know. Plant that got all messed up. I don't know.
And what's above the plants?
I don't know. I don't want to analyze it too much, but that's something.
I do. I love how they have a blanket for a door. Very messy people. Look at all your clothes. Do your fucking laundry.
It's the people that leave the door open, Billy.
Not much of a lock on a blanket, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, realistically, if someone broke into your house, are they going to be like impressed by the cleanliness?
I'm pretty good. I'm really good, actually.
Pretty good. Pretty crazy. So yeah, at least he died immediately because that would have been way worse. But he had left the first of his one of his marks on the crime scene, his baseball cap with the logo of the band AC/DC.
Ooh.
Spin me
How do
a
you
line.
forget your cap?
Spin me a line.
From AC/DC?
Yeah.
I'm on a same. Nice. That's awesome.
Then I believe there was something in Ricky that broke down and left him free to kill unmercifully, without a thought or an expectation of being caught. For the same night, he pulled a woman. Like, it's crazy. It's all in the same night. Like, it's so crazy that especially like serial killers like him, some of them are more thought out and calculated, but how he just kind of went from one place to the next and kind of just like a conveyor belt of murder.
Well, he's on a high and he went on a binge.
Yeah, yeah.
Think anything you do in life, like think about doing anything and you get away with it twice, you just start doing it more. Speeding.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've all done cocaine. Everyone's done cocaine. But imagine like shooting it in your veins. What the hell are you gonna feel like in that? And then you're like, and he's fueled by murder and like lust, because it's essentially, to me, I guarantee it's like turning him on in some way, because he is like
for sure
them, even though we've said that word 5 times. But I'm trying to keep our YouTube going, but I just 100% shadow ban on YouTube. There's no other way around it. We barely reach as much as we should. So please like, subscribe, and help the show and spread the word, because it's word of mouth, and they're not going to let us break through the algorithm unless a lot of you guys start to.
Even that, like at this point, like how many TikToks have you gotten taken down?
Oh, too many.
You're on your what, like 8th account?
Yeah, I started a new one, got over 1,000 people, and then now I'm back to just 200 views on each video after a meme went viral that people would deem as insensitive, but it's fine. It's just a meme. So yeah, he's like, oh, same night, he's like, fuck this, you know, I'm gonna. He pulls a woman out of her car after forcing her off the road and murdered her there and then on the spot. It had begun. The city of Los Angeles was in fear of what the newspapers would be calling the Night Stalker. But, you know, eventually...
Just a complete side note.
Flash.
You realize you've been live for 15 hours?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It says on my camera, it says that you have been streaming live for 15 hours and 25 minutes.
Well, that's awesome. We're going to beat the record. It only says 23 minutes, so you're good. That's bizarre.
We got a serial killer on the loose.
Yeah, so pretty crazy. And it is nuts because it's like, and originally he was like I think he was like the screen door prowler, something ridiculous, and he's probably like, I hate that name, man. I want to be the night.
That was a shitty name.
The screen door, something like that. Is something so ridiculous. Like, so you know, then everyone's freaking out now, but he was now known as the Night Stalker. The killing came easy. There was more and more. He had it down to a formula. If there was a man in the house, kill him first by shooting him in the head. Then, with the wife, sometimes children, restrained. He would go through the house for cash and things easily converted to, and things he convert to cash, obviously, mostly jewelry and rare coins, you know. For some reason, people are collecting rare coins in every place he's going to.
Everyone's got a rare coin collection.
Do you?
I wouldn't call them rare, but like I keep every loony that has the Toronto Maple Leaf thing on it.
Wow, you're a loser.
I have like 10 now. I like them. I enjoy it.
Wow, that's sad.
I like it. You'll use any excuse to press that button, eh? Any chance you can fucking find.
Hail Satan!
What was that one from?
I have no idea. I don't know where any of these are from. I just find them. So then came the fun part. He would beat and sexually assault the women and sometimes children in the house. The angrier he was, the better. The women crying and pleading for their lives were almost erotic for him. Pains were almost like an aphrodisiac. The blood was his orgasm. Some women managed to escape with their lives, but only after being sexually assaulted by Ricky in every possible way, anally, vaginally, orally.
Vaginally.
I can't help it, man. This is such a serious topic, and there's like people getting murdered and they're like penetrated and all sorts of disgusting shit. But for some reason, my brain goes to like, I gotta laugh at how dark and disgusting it is.
You gotta.
It's how you cope, man. So,
well, some people anyway. Other people do the healthy thing.
Why am I reading this right now? It's so depressing.
Idiot.
He occasionally untied the victim and forced her to cook him a meal or ate the food from the kitchen. Imagine that.
Oh. I love how that's the thing that got us. Like everything else was fine, but that's like, ooh, that's next level disrespect.
Get in that kitchen, bitch.
You touched my groceries.
Such a wild thing to do, though. To like, you're like, you know, maybe you shoot the husband in the head or whatever, and then you're like, you know what? I could use some scrambled eggs. Okay, get cooking. Los Angeles at night held no terror for him. He was completely protected by the one and only Satan. Hail Satan! That one, it sounds like he's saying Hail Satan.
He really likes those sheets, man.
Yeah.
They're good.
I love these sheets, man. He's got an accent, so everyone's like, he's saying hail. No, he's not. He's saying he loves satin. He's only breaking into your homes because he liked those satin sheets. That's all he wants. You know, so dumb. So, so he believed he was completely protected by Satan, to whom he had pledged his complete alliance to, his allegiance to Satan. He could assault a girl, and it was in his power to let her live or to slit her throat. It was all up to him. He had the power over them, and this is what you see with serial killers: is their domineering presence of like, that's what their thrill is being to dominate over people and to overpower them. So then obviously when you think about what the governments and stuff like that do, it's the same kind of premise of these, like, especially people that have power and they already have power and money. It is more about the power. Once you have all that money, it's just like if you can just, like, you know, say do this and then 100 million people have to do that, or that, you know what I mean? That, like, that power that you can have over people, I feel like is more intoxicating than being rich at some points. To some certain people, psychopaths.
Once you get used to it, right? Too, then it loses all its facade. I realize you can buy anything you want for X amount of time, and then you're just like, okay, now what?
Right,
there's always got to be something to work for. Like, that's
psychopaths, and they must be defeated.
Yes,
it's just how people think, though. In general, is like no matter what you do, like you're always working towards something, which is kind of, you're gonna hate this take, but which is kind of why I like the idea of, like, okay, work hard for what you got, and like it keeps you going, keeps you motivated. Like, I'd lose my fucking mind if I just sat at home and just got a paycheck to live my life. Like,
yeah, I know.
I'd go crazy.
I know. Well, people have to have purpose in life, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, once you're already at that level of having everything work-wise and you got all your money, and then what?
If I had all the money in the world and I could find it, I would live out my dreams, man. I would create art. I'd, like, you know, I do what the elites love, right? It's because you can sell them. Like, I'd like poop on a canvas and then be like, voila, $100 million. Because they literally buy like poop paintings and maggot stuff, and like all we talked about on the Illuminati episode, Brett. And so you could do that.
Paintings.
Literally poop paintings. They're so depraved that they're like, oh wow. You know, it's just like there was one painting we show where that was on the video we're watching, and it's like it's a dick made of poop, and like it's like very expensive. Yeah.
How much?
Like
how much money?
10 grand, you know, something like that. It's like,
10 grand.
I don't know. I just like they this is a real thing. They do like they like weird depraved shit, and that's what
I need to get into art, man. I'm in the wrong business. That's too funny.
It's so weird, man. You can look this stuff up. People literally buy poop paintings. So you think about
Wild.
this. He was evil incarnated in that moment. He was evil, needing of no heavenly God. He didn't need God. He could end any life as he wished. Several assaults, I'm changing the word because we'll get flagged after we've already said it a bunch of times, we are reported during this time in different areas of the greater Los Angeles country, and several of his victims were assaulted but not killed. Yes. Well, no, I'm just trying not to say the R word.
Yeah,
and I gotta stop saying retarded too, because it's supposed to be YouTube flags that shit. I'm like, man, like, you just not like have people have like it's just words, man. It is just sounds people make from their mouth, and people are like, oh my god, it fucking hurts my feelings, and it's just like, shut the fuck up, man. So crazy in that type of world. So what reason or logic had he had while he was committing these crimes is only known to him. Being under the influence of both cocaine and PCP, one can only speculate, right? Like,
probably
PCP
helped.
A crazy drug, man. I've never done that. I've done different drugs, but PCP sounds one where it's like that's where you're getting naked and you're running through the street. It sounds like scary.
Like acid? What is
PCP is like oh man, you're gonna make me look this up.
Shouldn't you know?
I don't like it's one that it's a known it causes hallucinations, distortions and perceptions of sound, and it causes violent behavior. So yeah. And there I've just heard over the angel dust many stories of people going buck wild on PCP. Yeah. But Ricky He ruled Los Angeles at night. It was his playground, right? Stomping his feet on the concrete jungle, looking for victims. Fear gripped the citizens while police had only few clues to go on. The power in knowing that when the sun went down, people would fear him. His power to end lives. He felt so powerful, you know? And this is definitely what he thought. It's like, I'm just like, I don't even care, man. Fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go out and do what I want and slaughter and kill and cause mayhem, you know?
No, like I said, you get away with it a couple of times, and it feels easy. It feels like this is the way it's always going to go, and then you get sloppier and sloppier and sloppier.
Becomes like a drug. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah. Chase the dragon. How badly can I injure this person, or how little can I injure them before I kill them? Like, and then you start playing both ways, and
yeah, you think how sick people are. Like, eventually, when we get into Joseph Mengele, if yeah, everyone's like, it's that's not didn't happen. No, it happened. I'm pretty sure all this stuff did. Some of those experiments did happen. But like the idea of like once you have like a power over people, and you're like, you know, and you're sick like that, it's like, what happens when I do this? When I cut their finger off? What happens when I do this? Like, and then there's those sick people, like, you know, and then it's like human centipede, where it's like, if I sew this guy's mouth to this guy's butthole, will he poop in his mouth, and then will he poop that poop out?
I forgot that was a thing. What a twisted idea. Like that person's like hands down one of the most twisted brains to be like,
probably came out
even if it was for a movie, it's just like to actually think of that.
Maybe it happened in real life, bro. You never know. I feel like movies are very much a reflection of our society and things that actually happen. You know, Lord of the Rings, real thing. There is a one ring to rule them all, they say. So again, only a short time later. On Monday, on the morning of March 27th, 1985, Vincent and Maxine Zazaria, that's a fun name, were found dead in their homes. The brutality shocked the officers on the scene. At the time, they had never seen a violent murder so savage and so brutal. Trying to just show these very quickly. so get flagged because we did get for our Unit 37 club. It's not really a club, but it could have been the Unit 37, the Japanese war crimes. It did get a sensitive content thing over YouTube. So you
really?
Can I accept this? Is it too sensitive? So I'm not going to show those again. But just if people want to understand the brutal mayhem of these murders, it's pretty grotesque. Yes. So,
wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to show this again. Maybe one more time. So it's fucked up, man. I don't know how else to try to make light of dark things. So pretty crazy. So the Vincent was in the living room and had been shot in the temple, as most men in the homes that Ricky burglarized. It is he is probable he died instantly. Hopefully, Ricky asked Maxine where her valuables were. We will never know what her answer was, but at some point he became enraged when found her nude body was laid on her bed, face mutilated with scratches and scrapes. Maxine's eyes had been crudely gouged out of her head, leaving ragged eye sockets drying with nerves and skin. Is that fun? Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Gross.
She had crudely shaped T through her breast with the knife sticking out. So he obviously carved a T. He's like, I can't spell the whole word the Night Stalker. So he's just like T's.
Oh, I thought he was just like tits.
That's fucked up, but yeah. That's so messed up, man. And the knife is sticking out, dude. 43 stab wounds to her neck, abdomen, and pubic area.
Wild.
Thighs. 43.
That's like you know she's gone.
Yeah.
No way she survived more than 15. He's all angry.
And that's
how dare you count?
It's like this whole it's just depravity, right? They just like and if she did last longer than a couple stab wounds, it's so sad. And the pain inflicted. Me and Aaron have talked about this numerous times where we've said like the feeling of the idea of being stabbed sounds so horrific and horrible. I'd rather be shot many times than stabbed many times.
Yeah.
because bullet everything. It's like supposed to be like bullets too.
Yeah,
it's quicker, but like even like stabbing wounds is like this burning sensation. They say bullets are like that too, but stabbing just seems more visceral and like personal, and you're just like right in there, and you have to stare.
and then you feel it come out too.
Yeah, it's and movies like Scream do show that very well, where they're like stabbing each other. Remember that in the kitchen? So you stab me too deep, man. And it's like that's so brutal, dude. So pretty crazy. What a brutal murder. And an autopsy showed she had been shot in the head with the same caliber weapon and ammunition that killed her husband. Everything Maxine had suffered had been post-mortem. So at least she was dead. Like at least he shot her in the head first, and then he was just playing around with her dead body, man. And it's all the it's like when we talk about Richard Chase, pretty messed up and disgusting stuff that these Richards will do. There were no screams of pain to excite Ricky as he butchered her lifeless body, feeling her blood. She was already deceased, and the excitement was gone. Now there was only vicious rage as he carved into what he, carved into what he liked. The thing the officers feared most was coming true. It was getting worse. Her eyeballs were missing. They,
don't like that. Not a fan of that.
Wait, what? You don't want
missing eyeballs? I don't even like touching my eyeball. Like, I don't know how people do contacts. I could never.
I tried that so many times. I was like trying to put the contact in my eye when they first came out. They're like the white contacts and stuff, and I couldn't do it. Like where your eye would go white, or you have like a zombie eye or whatever.
No, not happening.
Yeah. So they spectated. They speculated. I said they were specs. She's speculating the killer as he takes out her eyes. They speculated that the killer might have taken them with him, which he did. Another elderly couple were the next victims, Mr. and Mrs. William Doy.
Mm-hmm.
Like many others, at home in the middle of the night when Ricky surprised them. After shooting William, and proceeded to rob and assault Mrs. Doy. What a name, man! Can you tell they're Asian or what?
Well, if you're pronouncing it right.
D-O-I. Doy. So, what do you expect, man? Yeah.
Almost did another thing that would get us canceled pretty quickly.
It's fine, man. I want you to be.
No, it ain't. Not this one.
I realized streamed I come from the vault of our episode with the black-eyed children. I'm live streaming it to places that people, if they've never seen it, can kind of tune in. And man, we used to be pretty we used to go ham and have fun with this shit. And I want to keep that the same vibe, man. I want to keep the same vibe.
There's lines where I'm like, hey, I've grown as a human being. I'm not gonna say that in public anymore.
So yeah, he's on to his next victims. So the Doys, he's going after the Doys. And so Ricky surprised them in the middle of the night. After shooting William, proceeded to rob them, and then sexually assault Mrs. Doy. They were lucky to have survived. A pair of elderly sisters soon after them provided to yield very important evidence for the case. So he's like, it's not, I don't know if it's rampage mode yet, but it's like getting there. He's very much like it's inching closer. Like he's just going like ham all the time.
Ready to go. Yeah.
And it's just, I don't do it as much now, but when I was younger, I used to very much puzzle what it would be like to be a serial killer. It's just, I listen to necro and very sadistic hip hop of like how, not like what it would be like, but the mindset of like, how are you driven to that point? Like I always mention that law teacher that I had that made us like he would like give you clues about a case and give you like evidence and crime scene stuff. And then you have to kind of figure out what their motive was. And he would like leave it kind of up to us. And we talked about like the Holly Jones case in Toronto where that chick was caught up. And I would eventually talk about, it's very disturbing, but she was put around Toronto in suitcases. And this guy just essentially saw her, some pedophile saw her and just took her right off the street. She's watching child porn, just fucking, and this went out his door, saw her and just took her and then cut her up. It's just like, it's a messed up story, but he like had us like essentially puzzle over these cases of why did these people get to that point? How do they get to it? What's the psychological aspects of how to analyze these killers and stuff? Like it's messed up, but it makes you think, right? Like what drives these people?
I'm gonna say a lot of it's illness.
or is
For
it,
sure.
or are they possessed by demons? Is that a
Well, when you
possibility?
can't, like, I guess it is, Tom.
Reptilians, bro.
You've been off that train for a little while.
And I've been talking more about the physical aspects of the people who come from the Canaanites of the first maybe murderer. Who knows?
Oh my god!
I'm just not trying to mention that anymore. But yes, let's get back.
We got a serial killer on the loose.
The police have been frustrated by so little evidence, but on May 29th, 1985, in I don't know. I've never.
Let me guess.
Moravia, California.
They got their evidence.
Yes.
Did they get it? What'd they get?
Ricky chose his next victim, Blanche Wolf. What a name, Blanche
Wolf.
Blanche. Blanche Wolf. I don't know, man. It's a weird name. And her sister, Malvia Keller, who were elderly sisters in their 80s. Bro, and this is what the thing about Richard Ramirez is. He did not care what age. He did not care. And this thing, it's so funny because like I think there was a story that maybe he assaulted a young boy. I'm pretty sure when we mentioned it last time, I think there's something along those lines. But mostly he did stick to women. He didn't fondle around with the men, but he didn't care what age the women were. He didn't care.
0 to 100.
Yeah, and just like 80 years old, man. Two sisters that are 80. Ricky selected their house to rob them one night, and while the robbery may have been on his mind, Satan was his calling card. You know,
I love Satan.
His calling card at the end of the night. He loved his boy Satan. Both women were so savagely beaten with a hammer that the hammer was broken.
Wow.
This man just
look at this, that fucking smile.
Man, and this is what we talked about when we originally did this. I will put on the Patreon. I think it is on the Patreon now. Is the original Night Stalker episode that we did way back in the day, literally the beginning of the show, is on Patreon now. So obviously that's the best way to support us.
I don't even want to listen to that.
Oh, Billy's like talking about. He's like, man, just so sadistic, and he's like, Billy's like reveling over the fact that how like there's just no remorse to this man.
It is mind blowing.
There is, we'll get to it like near the end of this, but there is women that really do.
They're big fans.
It's crazy, man. But I talked about this with Aaron. Is the idea is that they look at someone like this that has the capability to murder, and they think and to like be
can change him
involved in such savagery that it is the idea that if they could get on his good side, right, that he would kill for them, right, or that like if something was wrong, he would protect you because he is that savage. Where if he was in your life and he was connected to you, then and there's something about that because it's many serial killers have had this where women, we're going to talk about it at some point, maybe near Halloween, where there's the women that love serial killers, and it's bizarre to say the least. But they I think they think that it's wow.
Everyone still wants to protect her.
That's true. But yeah, so both they're savagely beaten. The hammer broke off. Ricky took a tube of lipstick and drew an inverted pentagram on Blanche's thigh. I think it's Blanche because that's remember Blanche, like, was that Golden Girls or whatever? There's that one chick named Blanche, very like kind of old lady name.
I don't think I've ever heard a person called that before.
Weird. I don't want us to bring back the old names, man. Don't bring back my grandma just died. She was 92. She had a big bucket of wind, as some people would say. But like her name was Doris. I don't think we need to bring that name back. Like I don't.
No, that's fair.
You know what I mean? There's certain names where I'm like, I don't know, like a little girl named Doris is like, that's like, shouldn't you have wrinkles? It's just like a 2-year-old.
When'd your grandma die?
3 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, a couple weeks. She was like, she's 92. She's vaccinated. I'm just kidding, but she was. But like,
is it your fault?
Yeah, I'm not even close to her. I can't. I went into her room and was like, "Shh, you're 92 now. It's fine."
No, I'm just wondering if you reached out a day before or something. And
No.
That's why.
No, they did sanction me off. They said during the
You're not allowed to talk to this lady.
during the whole COVID schmovid stuff, I wasn't allowed to go to family events because I wasn't schmaccinated. So like,
I thought you were saying like grandma's getting up there, like she can't handle you talking anymore.
yeah. For some reason, I can't turn the podcast off. She has the podcast on loop by accident. I can't stop listening. I wanted to stop. Because they want to use technology. He also used blood to draw a pentagram.
Sorry to hear that though, but yes.
She was the last grandparent, but hey, she was 92. I think that's a pretty good win.
That's a damn good life.
Kids are having heart failure, so so he assaulted Maleva, whatever her name is. Sorry, Melvia. I think that's her name, Melvia. This was very significant. Sure. The police knew that they were dealing with a very specialized area of this predator. Someone using that symbol was making a statement about. And the police knew that they could maybe would make the next murder worse than that. So and they're like, obviously it is the time of the satanic panic. So they're all panicking and they think it could even be worse than that. And again, Ricky blended away into the muggy Los Angeles night. And it is a weird thing. People think it could be like lead poisoning or all sorts of weird stuff. But around the 60s and 70s, especially the 70s, 80s, there was such a ramp up in serial killers. Like at some point, I want to talk about the idea that maybe they were influenced by the CIA, like that Manson. I feel like definitely was. And then there even Eileen Warner's. She could have been. She claimed they're using she was in jail. She was very crazy, but she was claiming that they were using pressure, some sonic pressure on my head. She claimed this when she was being interviewed in jail.
See, is it outside influence or is it just because your parents were hippies?
Well, yeah, hippies all turned into douchebag lawyers. Like, I'm gonna fight the system. Never mind, I'm gonna be a corporate guy.
No, I mean because they would have been 70s and 80s. You'd have been born in the 60s, so your parents called them 20 in the 60s.
Yeah. They're on acid.
They're all fucked up 24/7. Very little taking care of you. Doing, oh my God, she's a free spirit. She's 3. She doesn't need anything.
Do you know who promoted that?
Free spirits?
I kill a communist for fun. But for a green card, I'm gonna carve him up real nice.
What did you mean promoted that? What?
It was the whole idea of subverting.
Oh, the hippie movement.
From it comes from a communist ideology. It's facts, man. Facts, bro. So so he was protected though. He has his protection. He has his protection of the Almighty. Everyone knows the Almighty.
I love Satan.
So I'm gonna be wearing that out. So he's protected by the Almighty. Hail Satan! Oh, it's like looking down. He knew he would never be caught. Victim after victim, they blended together. More elderly couples sleeping in their beds. He went after anyone that was easy. Realistically, that's what he did. He was like, as long as anyone, and it was a lot of people. I just left their door open. It was a lot of that where it's like, can I get into this easily? He was for sure a coward, and he preyed on some of the weakest people. So he is creeping to people. Some single women. One who actually talked to Ricky for an hour after he raped her, after he sexually assaulted her, and he spared her life, bro. After he did that, I don't know what the hell he was doing, just smoking a cigarette. And then she's like, so how's your weekend life? What do you do?
So what do you do for work outside of this?
Well,
that's not funny.
It's Dude, I need the Billy back that used to be here, right? I need this whole point of the show. It's supposed to be for fun, right? It's like
the Billy back that we do that is off camera now.
Billy back better. But that's part of the show, man. Is the idea like is for not of the faint of heart or easily offended, and I mean that. And I think that's it may have not got us as successful as we could be by now. I do think that there is a space for us. I believe it. I believe that there is a space for Strange Brew out there for all the fans. I love you guys, and I thank you for listening. So he could not remember who he even had killed because after doing it so often, like it would be like it would all blend together. Like especially as often as he was doing it, it would be like that old lady, this old. He doesn't know their names. He's not like, hey, what's your name, Brenda? Nice, okay.
Brenda.
Today I took Brenda out for a date. Just kidding. She's dead. It's like, so but like realistically, he doesn't care. He's just going in and causing savagery, and that's what's getting him off. And it is a high. Like he's definitely doing it as a high. All that he can remember when he was killing someone is the ultimate rush, a high so powerful he wanted the rest of his life to go on like this. It is weird. It's like a heroin addict, dude. It's like someone that is chasing the dragon. So that fixation of like, oh man, this feels great.
Absolutely. And next, and where am I going to get my next fix? And
he's doing it.
And then I wonder if records start popping in his head, like how many people have.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Well, he would have known about Hitler by then, but.
What do you mean? Oh, what does he do? Everyone thinks he's a good guy now.
Probably one of the biggest serial killers there are, but it's fair.
I would beg to differ. I would say the communists were definitely far worse than any fascist, in my opinion. If you
history. The communists were groups.
Tell me how many
Hitler.
how many Jews were in Europe at the time? I can't want to get into this now. There was less than what they said there was. There were on record there was only 3 million. Only 3 million in Europe at the time. So how the fuck did that happen? Because
they got them all.
You can literally look this up on census stuff where they were tracking where the population was. So not saying that bad things didn't happen. As I said, what are we talking about, man? But these people were definitely influenced by people like that. They're like, imagine being that guy. I can just be like, go over here, strip them down, put a bullet, you know what I mean, in their brain. Like, I don't care. Because either way, nobody is the good guy in warfare. I don't care what people think. There's no good or bad sides. There's people just striving for power. Yeah, he was on a high, man. Just 2 weeks later, and it's fine when we were talking about this, like when we did this episode originally, you're like, man, he's on a rampage. He does this as often as we do podcasts because it's like once like doing that. Because in the way we did before, we read off like this date, this person, this date, this person, this date, this person, and we went down the whole list of when it happened and the dates. And it was like every week at least, maybe sometimes twice a week, 3 times a week, but it was like consistent. It was so messed up, man.
Guy's going.
Just
what was the final count?
I think we'll get to it because when we did mention on the first episode, I just don't have it pulled up here. Just 2 weeks later on May 29th, Ramirez had some fun with an 84-year-old Maybell. There's a name you don't really need to come back. Maybell. Her name is Maybell Bell.
Mabel Bell. That's Mabel, but Mabel Bell.
Mabel Bell. Oh, I call Mabel Bell. Mabel Bell.
You can do it good. I'm gonna work at a tongue twister with that one.
Mabel Bell. And 81-year-old Florence Lang, an invalid. What's an invalid?
I don't think you're saying it right. Try it again.
That's what it is. That's
an
what it
invalid.
Is. Invalid, yes. Invalid.
Couldn't tell you.
I'll find it. Don't worry. Oh, of no force, weight, or not valid, weak. Having no force, effect, or efficiency, void, null. Not well, feeble, infirm, sickly.
That's one of my new favorite disses now.
Invalid. So that's somebody. So yeah, she was invalid.
Doesn't work if they don't get it.
Ramirez violently, not a lot of people get a lot of things nowadays. Ramirez, especially humor. Ramirez violently beat them and then scratched satanic symbols all over them and their house. There was The two were not found until June 2nd. Bell died on July 15th, but Lang survived the attack. And on June 27th, Patty Higgins had her throat slashed, dying in another stalker attack in her own home. And on this July 2nd, Mary Cannon, 77. So he's definitely just preying on the weakest people that he can, man. Killed in a similar fashion. Pretty brutal stuff. Pretty brutal. And
you're pushing it. If we're gonna get that flag, stop showing them.
You're good. Cannon lived less than 2 miles from Higgins, so like he's like going in the same area. Like he has like no remorse. He doesn't care. He's just going from house to house, being like, "Who has their door open today?" And then he just pops in your window. He's one of the worst people to see, dude. If you're like, and then it's like you're like, What's that smell? What's that smell?
Bobby, the same jawline as Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Michael Jackson had a jawline?
Yeah, just like that. Looks exactly like MJ.
Maybe it is him.
Black and white, it looks like fucking MJ.
Maybe. He has that same kind of vibe to his, I guess you could say. But that's after MJ turned white, because they poisoned him, supposedly. Conspiracy there. On July 20th, Ramirez decided to do it. They didn't want a black guy as the king of pop. That is a conspiracy. On July 20th, Ramirez decided to do a double. He's a double, sir. First off, he killed name's Chain Arong Covianth. So sure, 32, then beat and assaulted his wife. Not content, but he did take their 8-year-old son into the next room with a bottle of baby oil. Wow. And then the wife was forced to listen to Ramirez assault him. That is probably one of the sickest shit that he did. And I remember hearing about that's beyond depraved. Is making a mother listen to you do that to the kid and then be like, be like, as you're like going to the next room, just hold the baby oil. Like that's messed up, dude. And then he's just like, doesn't even care. Like he just doesn't care.
Rock on.
Rock on, man. Hail Satan. Love that guy. That's so crazy, man. To me, this guy could be a victim of some MK Ultra shit for all the God we know. She had to listen to that, and then he stole $30,000 in cash and jewelry. Ramirez then drove to a neighboring suburb and murdered Max Kindling, 69, and his wife Leela, 66. The couple didn't even have time to gather beds. Bro's just like coming and swinging, like messed up, man. And on August 6th, Ramirez screwed up and left both victims wounded, Christopher Peterson, 38, and his wife, Virginia, 27, where he was able to give a description of the attacker, which matched all of the other survivors' descriptions. Pretty crazy, man. And so, again, on August 8th...
I can't believe he didn't kill her, though, at that point. Like, I'm wondering where the sparing comes from at that point. It's like, did you like them as a human? Did they say just the right thing to you? Did they?
Maybe it's just the idea of taunting fate. I don't know, man. He's a weird dude. Like, of course he is. But August 8th, Ramirez strikes again. He kills Elias Obath, 35, shooting him, then brutally beating his wife. Same thing. Like, go in, shoot the husband, attack the wife. It is after this attack that the police announced that they were after a serial killer, linking 6 murders. The press, this is when they dubbed him finally the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker, remember that guy?
You're like Charlie Manson and the Night Stalker combined.
So, yeah, and then on August 17th, Ramirez struck in San Francisco, his first attack outside L.A., killing this amusingly named Peter Pan, 66. Do you remember Peter Pan? Do you think he was wanting to go to Never Neverland? Or is he never going to be alive again?
There's not enough there to do a good pun.
Someone's like, let's not get into the mind of him. You don't want to discuss how sick Ramirez is. You don't want to like live inside of his brain and try to figure out why he is who he is or was.
Again, I'm gonna go on a like limb and say there's a good amount of like mental illness there for sure.
Billy's got a woman tied up behind that door.
It's a sliding door.
Shut up, bitch. Oh, do I still have that one? That'd be so funny if I did. Let me see.
Shut up, bitch.
So messed up. So
That's Stone Cold.
yeah, no, of The Rock,
Oh, The Rock.
Shut up, bitch. And then you hear like, what's his name freaking out? Oh,
He called her bitch.
yeah. At least he made the namesake of G59 Rappa. Oh yeah. He wanted to be called the Night Prowler, but he got the Night Stalker, which actually sounds kind of better than the Prowler.
It's way better.
I know, so weird. So it's crazy. So
Why did we give them names? Why did we glorify them?
Because it sells, man. Sex
It's
sells.
bullshit.
It sells. It does.
It should
People
be
think
like.
that. And guess what?
Case
Fear.
number 52 is that large.
Fear does.
Yeah,
sell,
that too.
Man,
You're right. I
fear
know.
sells, and people consume by fear, right? So it's the way she goes, man. So this is pretty crazy. So they got the first sketch, bro. They had to look at that.
Ooh.
Do you think that actually looks like him? I don't know, man. It looks like him in like when he's like 65.
You could like see, here's the thing, like with sketches like that, and especially with how far off it is, like the nose is off, lips are long, face is way longer than
Oh,
it
they're
should
doing
be.
the
Like
best they can.
that could just like match anybody at that point.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the sketches do not get. I don't know. It's not the doesn't I get, but like kinda.
That's what he should look like.
Yeah,
But
but like
photo generated pictures.
it's AI enhancing it. Because all these photos are from like the 80s. That's like why they do this. Like, even some of the ones where he's like younger, kind of the same way, where they kind of try to enhance. Like this one, that's a real photo, but someone's enhanced it. Just to give you like that too, that real photo, but they enhance it to give people like, because it was like back in the day, but still you had like this is enhanced, but that's a real photo. So you like with all the technology we have nowadays.
Yeah.
Night Stalker. Night.
I wonder if they made any food branding out of it.
What do you mean?
Like usually when there's a big PR craze, like somebody will do one off-putting something anyway. Maybe it was a pudding brand. Maybe they're like introducing the new red Jello Night Stalker.
Don't stick your dick in this Jello. August 24th, Ramirez wounds Bill Carnes, 29, with 3 bullets to the head. Pop, pop, pop. And then he raped Carnes' fiance. God, it's harder to say that word where it's like right there. Ines Erickson twice. As Ramirez drove away, Erickson saw his car, would have been more appropriate. It was an orange Toyota station wagon. A local teenager also noticed the car and its driver. He took down the number plate and gave it to the police. And the end was near. So the IV drug user made it hard to keep track of everything that was happening because he's like shooting up cocaine in his veins. He's smoking weed. You know how that's good on the memory, right? Like he's doing all this crazy stuff. Pew, pew, pew. Thank you for tuning in, everybody that's watching on the live. But like pretty crazy. So then he's essentially like, how could you, man, you're like, he is doing heroin too. He's doing PCP heroin. He's shooting up the cocaine. So after some point,
he's off his rocker is what he
your
is.
brain has to like try to keep up with what you're doing. You know what I mean?
He's a champion.
And you like see him just like running up with fucking blood covered in blood.
Honestly, I'm surprised with all the crazy like shows that are out now. I'm surprised that's not one of them.
Drugs are bad, kids. Drugs are bad.
Who can do the most controlled oxys in one sitting without dying? Go.
Oh yeah, that's actually a great idea, bro. The drug Olympics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have like dudes lined up, right? And there's like the lines of Coke. They have like just normal lines. It gets bigger, it's bigger. And then they do like the snake. Then they do like the Hollywood line. That's what they call it, where it's like a snake. And then it's just like whoever can survive, Well, society might get there,
It's the new Squid Games.
You know, because when we talked about the idea of the human hunting club, there was somebody that I failed to mention when we were talking about that. There was a guy that wrote an article, and he was talking about how at some point that if the population gets overpopulated, they're already doing numerous things to keep the population down in so many different ways. But he said that at some point it would make sense to like have some sort of thing where it's like you have people hunting each other for fun, you know, to keep the population down, like a sport.
Oh, I got a good game for that though.
The final countdown.
As per the drug one, so you got, let's say, you got whatever, a bag of Coke.
Yeah.
And you got to do all of it, and every single contestant has to do all of it, and then listen to someone talk for an hour straight without being jittery. Whoever gets,
that's hard, man. When I was doing it a little bit, I had
and you're not to interrupt.
I think just for some reason, it just like be like. we all had our things, man. We were all young and did stupid shit. It's his life, man. So he actually, it's so funny because like at this time, right, he went out knowing like whatever the opportunity presented itself that he would want to kill, but the police had made the public paranoid, so people were getting more like agile and wanted to like obviously lock your doors, which you should be doing. So the media had jumped on the story of calling Ricky the Night Stalker because it sells, man. People were picking up newspapers.
Yeah, 100%.
It sells, and people were fearful of someone breaking in their home as they slept. They were looking for someone, but they didn't know it was him. He had to get away. And Ricky had very few friends because he's just like some drug addict. A road trip was in order. Fresh hunting ground is just what he needed, man.
This kid's definitely on crack right now.
Yeah. I hate that kid, man. Yeah. Crack is whack. Crack is whack. It's true. San Francisco was just far enough away to escape all the police crawling all over the Night Stalker case, and I'm sure he was laughing at that with no fear. It is weird out of all this year, like I think all of them are depraved, they're detached. Something's wrong with their brain, and a lot of serial killers did. We talked about this.
Absolutely, something's very wrong with their brain. Of course, it is.
A lot of serial killers had some sort of head trauma. Numerous.
Yeah, that too.
And one thing we didn't mention, which is surprising that I didn't have this written down, but in when we talked about his earlier life, there was when he was younger, he did get smacked in the head really hard by a swing, like enough where it like knocked him out. When he's like 3 or 4, something like that. He was fairly young.
Like plastic.
Yeah, but he got hit hard, man. Who knows the chains, man? But he got hit hard enough to like kind of knock him out.
It's the pussiest ass shit to get hit.
Yeah. But he was young, you know, your brain's soft, right? So pretty crazy. Yeah, so he escaped to San Francisco. The LAPD had worked tirelessly to try to find connections and everything, and aiming they could maybe solve the case. There's 16 victims at this time of murdered that have been, or 16 victims that have been murdered or assaulted, and they believe he was responsible for. But while all this was happening, Ricky was on a bus, San Francisco. You know, to a friend's house. He's like, "What are you doing, man? Can we go hang out? You know, I got some heroin. I always have heroin." He's like, all he's doing is killing and stealing to supply his habit. You know what I mean?
And live. It's his job now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you know.
I don't think he's going back to Best Buy after this.
Little did he know that what he would be waiting for on his return to Los Angeles. While in San Francisco, he committed several crimes, including shooting a man by the name of Peter Pan and his wife in the head, as we mentioned. He went to Phoenix after San Francisco, and he was on a bus. The LAPD cut a huge break in the case when they took the fingerprints from the windowsill of Pan's house. Yes, Peter Pan. He left a little residue, you know. He flew away to Neverland, you know, when like Peter Pan's like dragging Wendy out of the window. It's like, you're going to come with me and you're never going to grow up. We're going to be kids forever. Because I don't want to grow up.
Yeah, super creepy.
Would you go to Neverland?
Nah, I'm good here.
Why just to grow old and die slow?
Yeah.
Do you know we'll talk about it sometime. The theory is that they're all dead already.
Oh, in Neverland?
Yeah. So weird.
It makes sense. It really does. That does make sense. It's a nice little spin on it.
Yeah, everything has a creepy tale. If you guys are a fan of the show and you're not listening on audio or whatever, subscribe to the audio platforms because there's tons of episodes out there. Me and Billy talked about that, of all the creepy children's stories and stuff that have weird meanings behind it, like the Alice in Wonderland stuff.
And we did a lot on Dark Disney too.
Yeah. So the police department had come a long way from computerized fingerprint matching. They put the fingerprints into a database and they connected with Richard Levi Ramirez, who had been
Nailed it.
stealing cars. Well, it's Leyva. Levy.
Leva.
Sure. It's Richard. It's Richie
Levy.
Rich, man, who
Leva.
had been stealing cars, and his fingerprints matched up with all these car thefts, and then they knew who they were looking for. They were looking for the Night Stalker.
Ooh.
Now they had to find him. The public was unbelievably frightened, and the police used that to take. They used it to their advantage. The mugshot that was taken from his car arrest booking was on the front page of every newspaper. So I don't know if this is.
If you didn't steal cars, you wouldn't have got killed for all this. Or ACDC fans don't see a stalker tie.
That's so stupid, man. I hate ACDC, I'm not gonna lie. I know if people like it, it's fine, but not me.
Well, it's rock music. Whatever. I enjoy it.
It's fucking grandpa rock at this point, man. Sad. I don't like the guy dressed up like a little boy. I got beef with that guy.
Angus Young.
So they had to find him, man. So they plaster his face all over the newspaper. It's kind of a good idea because realistically, someone's like, hey, that's that guy. You remember Little Nicky? Where they like put his face all over like the media, and the guy superimposes his face onto Tony Montana. He's like, hey, that's not me. That's that cockroach, Tony Montana. And he's like, you remember in Little Nicky, and then everyone chases him and he turns into spirits.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I am one with evil or whatever. He like,
Mm-hmm.
so like eventually if you put stuff out there, they'll look for you, right? So and eventually they got the picture. They knew who they were looking for, this gnarly cat, and they were gonna find him. They were gonna find the boy. It's just so crazy how often he's smiling in photos, man. Happy as a pig and shit. Or a serial killer.
Which is weird too, because at that point you think he'd be going through a lot of withdrawal. He wouldn't have the go-getter attitude that he had before.
Hell yeah, they need to come out with a Little Nicky too. Yeah, I don't know if they're already doing they're already doing what's that, the golf movie. They're already doing that. Happy Gilmore.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I'm sure it'll be actually kind of fun. Well, at least I hope it was, but who knows?
It's gonna be good. I like Adam Sandler.
The Hispanic community in Los Angeles had their own publications in Spanish, in the Orange County Register, in the Herald Examiner, and the Los Angeles Times. Everyone knew what he looked like. They had the pictures out. Everyone was looking for the boy.
That is not. Stop showing that one. That one is not AI. That's not enhanced photo. That's not a real photo at all.
No, it's fun though.
Do you have some like legit photos from there that aren't enhanced?
Yeah.
Like just regular ass photos.
Real photo. This is him sitting in court. We'll get to that. It's just the enhanced ones are kind of cool. Like that's very detailed. Very detailed. This one's straight up, man. Straight up Richie. You know, look at how long those fingers are, man. He's got this. Wouldn't want him to give you the stinky finger.
Why are the handcuffs like?
I don't know. Colored.
Are those plastic?
No, they're metal. They're just probably a certain color for some strange reason.
Make them show. Stand out a little bit better.
Someone's like, I don't know if this is real, but I swear to God, Adam Sandler's coming out with a Flintstones movie live action. Can we not do that, man? We've already done that twice. I like the first two. They're okay. I did watch them as a kid. So Ricky got off the bus on August 31st, 1985, walked to a nearby convenience store and to buy his usual breakfast, donuts, and a giant bottle of Pepsi. Not paying attention to the people around him, still high off cocaine, he taken to Phoenix. He reached down to pay for his food when he heard a woman angrily whisper in Spanish to her husband, "I tell you, that's him! That's him!" Can you do a Spanish accent?
No. Face you clean. What's Consuelo say again?
Let me pledge.
Lemon pledge.
I tell you, that's him. That's him. His eyes fell on the newspaper rack beside the cash register. Saw his car theft booking shot on the front page of in front of everybody. The cashier was holding out change, but Ricky was beyond petrified. He dropped his food and ran out of the store as fast as he could. The couple rushed to the counter, and the woman was almost crying. And the man yelled, "Call the cops! What the hell's wrong with you? That's the Night Stalker." Run, Ricky, run! Run, Ricky! Run until you find a car to steal. His thoughts were completely incoherent, and he could not he could not believe that he'd become public enemy number one. What do you fucking think is gonna happen, man?
I was just trying to live my life. I wasn't. I prayed every day. Not to the person you think.
So yeah, so everyone was looking for him. It was only a matter of time, and then he was going to have serious problems. He found he had run into a residential neighborhood, the kind with neatly cut grass and small statues of the Virgin Mary. So you know they're gonna kick some ass, man.
Oh yeah,
he's got
those
Satan.
guys are not ones to fuck around.
He had the fake Virgin Mary. So I was getting mad with that.
The fake. I love that. Family Guy does a good stand up on that too. She's like, I don't know, this is God's baby, and she's like, yeah. I didn't do nothing.
He smelled barbecue and felt like throwing up. Sweat was pouring down his face. He'd run close to 2 miles in only 12 minutes. He leaned up against the side of a building to try to catch his breath, but only moments later he heard a voice screaming, "Call the cops!" He began to run again.
Got him.
But he like everyone's after you, man. It is like that sweet little Nicky. Only moments later, he heard a voice screaming. Cops. He began running again, and he heard the beginning of police sirens in the distance. Then another and another. Ricky knew he was trapped. He ran to a nearby home and then through an alleyway. He could still hear sirens jumping over fences of houses. He saw a Ford Mustang parked in the driveway next to it, unlocked and with the keys in the ignition. It's like, is Satan
wild coincidence?
I know. Is Satan giving him the slip, like being like, I'm giving you chances, man. Here's one right here. You know what I mean? A Mustang.
A nice fast vehicle.
He jumped in and tried to start it before he realized there was a man underneath it. Oh, he was working on the car's transmission. Wow, you know that crazy that'd be and shocking.
Wouldn't you fucking see that? Like the car would be on jacks. No, someone just fucking slid under there.
He's Anakin. Panicking is on cocaine, man.
Oh yeah, he's not really thinking at all.
Reaching around and grabbing Ricky, he jumped angrily at him, and Ricky was out and running on the streets again because he's all like decrepit, doing drugs up, you know. And then across the street, this chick named Angela was getting into her car, going to the mall when Ricky ran up. Of course, because he's a woman, because he wouldn't do that to a man because he's a pussy. And ran up to her and struck her in the head in the driver's seat window, demanding her keys and hissing harshly. She screamed at the top of her lungs. Give me those keys.
Like, I was scared of you, but now I can't take you seriously anymore. No, this is my car, actually.
She screamed at the top of her lungs and brought not only her husband, but also the man who was fucking her. I'm just kidding. Not only her husband, but the man who owned the car he was trying to steal. Tiva amato. Tiva amato. He screamed at her in Spanish again, meaning I'm going to kill you. Tiva amator. Sure. While this was happening, two young men from a very close-knit neighborhood, Julio, and Jamie heard the screams from the father, Jose, calling him to come quickly and ran over the driveway of the neighbor. Angela's husband had grabbed a piece of metal post and recognizing, obviously, Ricky as the Night Stalker, took a swing at him. And as they were running, El Matador, El Matador, someone screamed, meaning loosely translated in Spanish, the killer, the killer. Weird. Okay. It's Billy. Oh, I thought you're frozen solid like a ghost, man. Are you okay? Are you okay? Can you hear me?
The fuck?
What? Are you okay? Everything good over there? I can still see you. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Oh no! What is happening, man? Where'd you go? Man, Billy has to get his internet.
I'm trying to stop my camera so I can just there. If my camera's not going, it's a little less internet, so I can still talk.
Wow, this is just wonderful. Wonderful, Billy. We need to see that beautiful face of yours.
Just needed to load up for a second.
Your trailer internet extension is not working too well. Luckily, I can edit the audio. We're live, so it don't matter about the video. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. People are making fun of your face lighting. So where are you going now? Are you still here? Jesus Christ. Yep. Okay. So Ricky knew this was it. Manuel had caught up to him, giving him 2 more fast smashes to the head and wrist, breaking his wrist. Julian and Jamie, or Julio, whatever, I'm going to call him Julio, and Jamie had also caught up to Ricky and jumped on him, holding him down while sirens wailed in all directions. Helicopters whirled overhead, so they had everyone coming after him. The whole neighborhood was out on the street by the time the officer who got there had his part with, obviously the crowd had gotten to him because they were beating him. Everyone's just like, he is running, trying to get away, while literally people are like hitting him with all sorts of shit and punching him, kicking him to the ground. And they handcuffed him and they put him in the back seat. Is that crazy though? What a time, man. Just getting like tracked down by all the Mexican villagers.
To finally good that somebody recognized too. I'm thinking back in the 80s, like realistically, if somebody put a face out there, like I don't know if I'd recognize them out in public, because if I did, I'd be like, that can't be them. I'd immediately dismiss it.
I know. Well, and that's what, like, obviously is called the bystander effect, right? Where people like they'll watch something happen and not do anything about it, but and they finally caught him. After all this time, which is so wild, and it's Ricky was crying for someone who had worshipped Satan.
He's like, no, I got caught, and then he put his hard exterior back on for the public afterwards.
It is funny considering you see him throughout like the court proceedings. We're going to play a couple clips of like him always like smiling and acting smug and all the things that he kind of did after he got caught. But then at this time you're crying because finally your reign of terror has come to an end. That's so weird, man. For someone who worshipped Satan, killed men, and was accused of assaulting an 8-year-old boy, not to mention numerous women, his bravado was gone. Satan, his protector, had turned a blind eye to him. The officer broke protocol after reading Ricky his rights. You're the Night Stalker, right? You're the Night Stalker, aren't you? He asked Ricky. Ricky nodded. Snot and tears on his filthy face. Yeah, man. I'm Richie Ramirez. Shoot me, man. Kill me. I don't deserve to live. Kill me now. The irony was not lost in the Los Angeles Police Department that the arresting officer was named. The officers that arrested him was named Andre Ramirez. No relation.
Oh, that's just bad PR.
Yeah, crazy.
People are just going to be like, is it? They didn't. Yeah, that's rough. Your family name's kind of tainted at that point.
Yeah, because you think when people are like, "Oh, that's Ramirez," right? It's like you definitely Bundy. If you have that name, you eventually have to kind of take it. You don't have that name anymore. So pretty wild.
I think that drawing's you, for fuck's sakes. The drawing's so bad it could be anybody.
Yeah, it's not good. But you see that with a lot of their sketches, right? But and they finally caught him. And now let's get to the trial, the circus trial, essentially. Let's play another clip.
Ramirez entered the courtroom wearing sunglasses and shackles. He's accused of 43 crimes, including 13 murders and multiple counts of rape, robbery, sodomy, and oral copulation. Outside the courtroom, metal detectors were used to beef up security. Dozens of spectators crowded the hallway, hoping to get a glimpse of the accused serial killer. Ramirez was captured nearly 3.5 years ago by an angry group of citizens in East LA. He was caught trying to steal someone's car. Police say he had terrorized much of greater Los Angeles by entering homes through unlocked doors or windows. Authorities say he raped, robbed, and killed many of his victims. Most were in the San Gabriel Valley. Following his capture, reports surfaced tying Ramirez to Satanism. He once flashed a pentagram drawn on his hand, and in an earlier court appearance, he shouted, "Hail Satan."
Hail Satan.
Today, nearly 3.5 years later, the trial of Richard Ramirez is finally underway. The long delay was the result of changing lawyers, trying to get the trial moved to another city, and allegations of racism by prospective jurors. It took 6 months just to pick a jury of 12, with 12 alternates. Prosecutor Phil Halpin began a no-nonsense, chronological account of what Ramirez allegedly did. He would not give a public assessment of the case or the evidence, but he did say the long delay may make it difficult for the witnesses who are called to testify.
And I suspect there'll be problems with memory on those people that appeared.
But nothing unmanageable.
Well, at that point, it's unfortunately it puts the pressure on the witnesses.
Defense lawyer Daniel Hernandez tried to elude reporters.
Can you talk to us at all?
No, he can't.
Can you tell me anything about your opening statement?
I love how they're like he presented a no nonsense case. It's
I saw that too, and all I was thinking actually at the end of this was the defense lawyer getting a case like this and being like, so how do we say this was an accident?
Yeah, like what do you have to like?
He
really
slips the first time. I don't know. I'm out of options. He just kept sliding from house to house, stabbing. Very unfortunate.
He's like sliding on a trail of blood, and somehow his like knife just keeps going into everyone's.
That's where the slip and slide killer came from.
Or maybe like he was and then it's just like, well, he didn't know any better, right? That's how like you gotta play it off like. He was just using finger painting, right? He was
he was just curious.
Because why did I think of that? The pentagrams into my Hitler got brought up earlier, so that's probably why. But pentagrams, he's just finger painting, man. Ricky's family hired a young and hardworking lawyer who was a professional friend of the family back in El Paso to represent.
Yeah, nothing else you can do for him.
This was problematic. I'm fucking sure it was. Confident though he might have been, he was inexperienced in handling a case of this magnitude. Well, no fucking shit, man.
Were there experienced ones that you could have gotten?
Well, they literally chose like a family friend, which was
I know. They knew they're done anyway. There's no winning. You're over. They got DNA evidence on you to tie it to everything, basically.
I know. And you could kind of plead insanity or some of the other things that I've been. Oh, the only serial killer wasn't technically a serial killer, but what's his name? Ed Gein was the only one that got the plea of insanity. He only killed 3 people, maybe not technically a serial killer, but he did dig up a bunch of bodies, so that's just fucking strange. But he was the only one that got insanity. So who knows, right? And now he's in jail, but he's dead now. But so essentially, like it's so crazy. So he was, not to mention, he was not really licensed to practice law in the state of California. They didn't even try. Like, man, he's going down. The Los Angeles District Attorney Office assisted the Deputy District Attorney P. Philip Halpin to prosecute the case against Ricky. Judge Elver Soper also assisted the public defender's case. So Ricky claimed he had no representation, very experienced and very tenacious. Halpin fully expected to lay charges against Ricky by the end of the week. That would make him a candidate for the death penalty. Unfortunately, this was not the case. Ricky was rejected the lawyer's. He rejected the lawyer's family sent. No shit. Well, I would probably too, because I'd be like, "Wow, this guy's not experienced. He's not going to make this any better." It's so funny how hard he tries to look during all of his court appearances, man.
And he was crying when he got caught.
Yeah.
So I can't keep just indiscriminately murdering people. Like, come on, Satan said I could.
So dumb.
What happened to love for all?
Yeah, is that what Satan does? Well, we all know who the you know the left. Once you start realizing
right
who
now.
God is,
I can't handle that right now.
Slap yourself out of it, man. We got a little bit to go.
No.
So,
I just meant you.
You can't handle it all. Yo, what the hell's that in your background, man? Someone coming through that door.
Probably.
Smells of rotten cheese.
Fuck me, I hope so.
I'm hungry. His family argued that Ricky was brainwashed by one of the lawyers and not being able to make his own decisions by what he had to do. The family brought in another pair of private practice criminal defense lawyers. Hearing after hearing ensued, but most notably when the hearing where Ricky was drawn a pentagram on his palm. Very famous picture of him when he has the pentagram. And like he's like smiling, still praising Satan. So this is the very, this is the when a reporter took his picture, he held up his palm upside down, showed the satanic symbol. More hearings, more antics ensued, but finally, after the jury selected 3.5 years after Ricky had been caught on August 31st, 1984, Ricky's trial was about to begin. 3.5 years after he got caught, dude.
See, even that too, to say the family made a mistake by hiring an inexperienced lawyer. Like, what lawyer's getting? He's like, I'm gonna just show everyone that I got this on my hand too. So you also gotta find a workaround.
I know, man. It's just like, and it's just, you're admitting yourself to guilt, but I think there's part of me, right, that thinks that he wanted the death penalty.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to go to jail. He's a little bitch.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, because of what they would have done to him. But surprisingly, I think he did terrible in jail. And he we'll get to it, but he lived quite a long time, man. Pretty crazy, dude. Women loved him. And that's like, it's almost unfair that he was able to live out his life. Like look at that, man. How long he lived from when he was a young dude. For all the audio listeners, we're showing.
Looks like he's in his 50s.
Yeah. I think that's around his 50s when he did die. So crazy. He sat in jail. So Ricky was being charged. Richie Rich was charged with 14 counts of first-degree murder and 30 associated charges, including rape, SA, sexual assault, robbery, sodomy, burglary, oral copulation, and attempted murder. What a charge! It's like, isn't sexual assault like the R word? Isn't that the same thing as oral copulation? It's the same thing. Unwilling participant.
It's another little extra.
For some reason, I like Fireball, man. I almost drank this whole thing, and I actually don't feel that bad. Oh, something about it, man. It burns right,
It's the cinnamon. Yeah. I can't do it.
Really?
That was, we finished like a 40 of one of those on my 16th birthday, I think.
I think you really touched it yet. I didn't. Ew, man, you guys did that? That's fucked up, man.
No, it was just me. That was on Barker there.
Really?
Yeah, I had like half the high school in my apartment building. We almost got evicted.
A 40? Ew, man, that's nasty.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Yeah, I think I had maybe one shot of Fireball since then.
This is enough. Like, that's fine. I'm like satisfied after or whatever. And it's only often, like so often I will drink Fireball. But like that's so gross, bro. Like, imagine drinking it your whole night. You're just drinking this shit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like liquor, and that was like the easiest liquor that
you nasty
could do. Yeah, it was gross.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
And then you mentioned like so Richard Ramirez did bring the eyeballs like home because he needs
Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
you know. But this is how I felt. You know, after he murdered that woman and like shot her in the head and then
Stop! He's already dead.
Cool. I got to at least use some of the sound effects that I did bring on for this. So pretty crazy. When he requested the photos of the bloody crime scene for his first lawyer. Oh, that's so crazy, man. So okay, because he had been high during most of his activities, he could not or possibly just not give details of some of the crimes otherwise, or he would be more than happy to talk about them, I guess, because they like to revel in the murder and mayhem.
He's like, I'm 90% sure I did it. Again, not very good for your defense attorney. I was really fucked up. I can't quite remember the details.
There's never been proven before, but I wonder if that could like work though. I was messed up. What are you drinking?
It's called hard green tea.
What?
Fucking love it. The breweries down here are sick. So I got green tea in a
cool
Maritime, and then I got Cherry Best. A little growler here.
That's pretty cool, man. Fuck
Dude, the breweries down here are fucking awesome. They're so much better than Ontario's.
That's
they
the
got
first
all these like fun little.
We never really drink on the show as often as we used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same having you here where I can like touch your face. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. You don't see this that often as we used to back in the day. It makes me want to cry. It's been a long time. So yeah, he this is weird. So he requested photos of his crime scene from his first lawyer and received them, and he put them on his cell walls, claiming that the other prisoners needed to know how badass he was. Maybe he just scare them away. He doesn't want poop thrown at him like they did for Paul Bernardo.
That's the equivalent of like asking a friend about an old picture that you guys got together. It's like, yo, you remember those pictures y'all took? Can I get some of those?
Oh, me sitting beside that motorcycle looking so hardcore.
I was telling my buddies, and they don't quite believe me. So
look at me. I stand next to a motorcycle. That's so hardcore. You know?
So hardcore.
I don't know why he's Asian. So, of course, as officials found out about this, they removed this from his possessions with him screaming loudly that his rights have been violated.
Give it back to me.
Is that crazy? You violated my rights.
You don't get rights no more, buddy. You're done.
It's literally a part of why you're in there. But by the time his argument seemed ridiculously simple and valid, you're taking away my rights. Those are my photos. I took those. It's just like, it was self-defense material, and he had a right to it. That is the craziest bullshit that I've ever fucking heard, man.
It's a fun spin.
And they served their purpose. They scared the living hell out of the hardened criminals twice his age inside the longer he had been a criminal himself. And the weird thing is, I think at first he was probably frightened, but if he did get this fear invoked out of people where they were scared of him, to some extent, then maybe he wouldn't be messed with, because when you are a child diddler, especially a child murderer, you're not treated very kindly. You know what I mean? So at
that point though too, it's like, yeah, we can kick the shit out of him, but unless we kill him, like, he's going to come after us one time.
Yeah,
and constantly watch your back forever. Like, this guy's never going to give up until he gets you back.
Maybe, or it's like but there is this thing, right, where it's like people are like, he's definitely a coward and he went after the weakest people.
Yeah, 100%.
But he was pretty sadistic, bro, and like the stuff that he did to people was beyond comprehension of most people that were criminals. Even that like cartel criminals and stuff that were like, shooting people in the head, burying them into unmarked graves and stuff like that. Like, let's play another clip because just listen to what he talks about, man.
I think most humans have in them the capacity to commit murder. It is not because...
No, we don't, Richard.
They choose not to, not because they are morally superior, as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments, beliefs, and sentiments.
Richard.
And that would render murder an absurd gamble or ridiculous self-destruction.
He was on Maury.
Wild.
Isn't
When
that
did he die? That was 91. That was, yeah.
know.
When did he die again?
I was born then. We'll get to it. But pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. So I believe that Ricky knew he would never have been beaten this stunning array of charges. There's no way. He had asked for a famed legal counsel, Melvin Belli, to take his case. Belli denied him, and not only from the perspective that the case was too far to be ever like you can't turn around now, but obviously with misconduct and the stakes, medical and psychological bills for Ricky would amass to over $300,000 alone. And that was in 1985. I can't imagine what it would be cost to do testing on him now. $300,000 at that time to just test him. Where the fuck does our money go, man?
Just gotta see. And like, what do you really gain out of that?
Is Maury dead? Is he dead?
No, I was talking about Ramirez, buddy.
I was like, yes. When did Maury die? I didn't know Maury was dead. Did he die? So wild, man. He's just so ruthless. Just for fun, because we're slowly coming to a close of this. This is a really rare interview of Richard Ramirez. Some that I've never seen. I only listened to a bit of it, so but a minute and a bit.
Do I associate sex with violence? Break. Shit, man. This is a hard question. I don't know. I can't answer that, Mikhail. I mean, hold it. Just, no, we can't get into that. See, she tries and makes, keeps me going, but I can't. Don't laugh like that. You're making me laugh. I hope you edit this real good, Philip. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, man. What do you? I'm at a loss here. What do you want me to say? People.
Nothing. I wanted to say the things you've made me think you got.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Look, sometimes I can't say what I really feel. I am pending trial here. As to sex and violence, many people are into S&M and bondage and stuff, and there's clubs that...
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Me? Well, sex and violence? Well, No, I don't think I'll answer that. Huh? What?
זה קשה לראות שהוא מתקרב אלייך ככה.
Well, I agree. That was a stupid answer, but Jesus, this is a wicked world, and in a wicked world, wicked people are born. And
his nonchalant laughing and the way he talks about this stuff,
guys, nuts.
Isn't it crazy? His mannerisms. I've never seen that interview ever. I only watched a couple seconds of it when I was like, "Oh, this will be interesting," because I wanted my own live reaction. And it's very bizarre the fact that he's able to laugh about this shit, and it's weird, man. And he's leaning over the table for the audio fans. It's very weird how he's kind of just it's nonchalant. He does not have any care in the world. It's fun for him.
That's hot.
I goddamn hope not. Marilyn Manson's fault. Yeah, it's so true. Ted Bundy blamed porn, man. That's literally what Ted Bundy's like. It was porn. Porn made me fucking kill people.
Oh,
so
fuck.
crazy. It's so disturbing to like. I've never seen that interview where he's like, yeah, it's like I hope she was talking about like BDSM, like it's that's all fine, but between consensual people, I don't care. But like when you're like forcing it upon people, and when Richard Ramirez did, that shit is beyond.
You heard it here first, guys. If you didn't know if it was bad, Tom let you know.
It's very bad.
It's bad.
It's a bad.
You shouldn't do what he did. If that's
very nice.
That's why we had this podcast, because all the people that were on the fence.
Yeah, just in case.
Now you know. We say no.
This is getting dark over here. You want to say that?
You are wild, miss.
Say it for the audio listeners.
I want him to tell me that I'm a good girl. You need therapy. Go talk to somebody.
Here, why not? Since we're in this. This is some of the one of the interviews, but I'd like to get more if we end up talking about this. This is a woman who loved Richie Ramirez.
Why on earth would you have hurt those people? Why did you kill those people?
I just wanted to see what he looked like. I think he's cute.
This is one of many female admirers who supported him during trial and his stay in prison. This is Other.
Everyone makes him look so bad, but I know that he's a nice person because I've met him and I know.
He's convicted of 13 murders.
I know. But he's really a nice guy.
And Ramirez is even playing with them. Look at what she says now.
I said, how many other girls visit you? I want to know. And he kind of laughed and said, there's 2, but, made me think that and believe like I was like the only one that he liked that was visiting.
So he even manipulates them.
That's crazy. He's a nice guy. We'll be saying that when he's got this fucking blade down your throat.
On trial for killing 16 people.
That's crazy. And they're like, I think he's cute. And that's the problem with Bundy, too. Bundy's been overdone. I was like debating if we'd ever cover him. But I kind of want to because he is so famous and it's such a crazy case, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. So, like, obviously the court approved of these lawyers since it's what Ricky wanted, even though I don't know why he has any rights. The trial got underway. Ricky sat behind a pair of glasses, as we showed. These famous images of him, like very famous images of him, just like chilling out, his aviator glasses. It was a mockery. It was a circus trial. Like literally, it was the clown world we live in. So it doesn't even matter. But he knew what was going to happen. I believe that he felt that the trial was both a waste of time and a way of the public to continue to demonize him. And he probably got off on this of his fame. Everybody's watching him. He's feeding off of it. If he does believe in these demonic and dark forces, they're somehow fueling that, in my opinion.
100%.
I do think that is quite possible. This is going off the rails a bit. So he knew, so if it wasn't for the media, and how they received it, he would yell like "Hail Satan" or like glare at the bailiff. He did not participate much. While Halep produced a mass of 521 exhibits and 137 witnesses. That's crazy. All testifying against Richie.
I feel like you got a good case there.
I think you do.
That seems pretty slam shut, don't it?
Showing he had committed the crimes he was being charged with. The crime scene photos were in the book in front of Ricky. He looked through them. I'm convinced this and less to do with the indifference. There is more to do with his actual memories of having committed the crimes himself. And we've learned this about serial killers is they like revel in their crime and they want to relive it over and over again. As I've told Aaron that Aaron wanted to be a part of this, which is sad because he actually finds Richard Ramirez very interesting. He's fascinated by him. But I said that if he can come on the Edmund Kemper one, that one's even crazier, in my opinion. She said that Edmund Kemper did equally crazy, but in different ways. In the case, most certainly had negative effects on the jury, who was, obviously they're flabbergasted by Ricky's defense. The 2 attorneys defending him simply stated the witnesses were mistaken and it wasn't their client. It wasn't him. It's not this guy. It's not him.
Have you seen the sketch? Doesn't look anything like him.
Yeah, doesn't look nothing like him. You know what? Did a 2-year-old draw this shit? What are we doing, man? It looks like a very old version of himself. So look at this picture and then look at this one.
Yeah,
It's
he lived a lot of years.
so weird, man. It's me. It's the Night Stalker.
Hi, I'm the problem.
It's me. Hi, I killed that chick. It's me. Hi. She's a fucking bitch. In any case, most certainly the negative effects on the journey. So dumb. He had been in El Paso. It is very late. So anyone that's listening to the audio, it's like 12 Billy's time, 11 my time. So he had been in El Paso visiting his father, Julian, when one assault had been committed and produced his father to testify. Pretty crazy. Physical evidence was not exact. There were 4-year samples. Had thousands of people trample on them and touch them. That's the problem with a lot of these cases is they have tons of people touching them. So on July 26, 1989, the jury was instructed to begin deliberations. They had over 8,000 pages of trial transcripts and 655 exhibits to consider. The bulk of the documents concerned the murder case, which were special circumstances, meaning that Ricky was ineligible for death parole for each one. There was 14. The one was in Orange County, had been dropped and tried and sped up in the process in the trial in Los Angeles. They began, but within a week, the juror was removed for a continued napping during deliberations. They had to go to sleep. And it is little wonder why the accused finds it hard to have a faith in a jury when they find out the information such as this, when they are facing the death penalty. But there was one more. On August 14th, a juror named Phyllis, whatever her last name was, found shot to death in her apartment. Whoa! The paper, I forgot about that, still reported that her boyfriend, who soon after killed himself in the same gun in the hotel he had killed her in. Pretty crazy. So one of the jurors was murdered by her boyfriend. His suicide note stated that he had argued with her over the trial. That's Richie Ramirez. I like him. He was my friend. That's not what he said. I'm making that up. The judge called them together and told him they must continue. And they brought in to another alternate, whom I'm sure was petrified. Ricky screamed in the court that it was all fucked up. Everything is so fucked up. And the legal team was fought hard for a mistrial, which frankly, he had not had. The jury was inexplicably tainted. The shooting had psychological effects on the jurors, making it impossible to actually have a fair deliberation for his guilt or innocence. But they went on. On September 20th, they announced that they had reached their anonymous decision on each count of 43 counts of murder. Well, it's 43 counts of guilt. They all voted that he was guilty. The music does make it better. It makes it more soothing, I find.
It does. I enjoyed the transcript.
What is crazy is
it's nice for like a wrap up too. It's like
someone is in the jury, their boyfriend murders like them because of an argument they had over the trial. Like that's crazy that happened, man. Like I don't know. I saw him in court. You know, I saw the pentagram, man. He just likes some rock music, man. He's super.
Yeah, I'm curious who was defending what. Like, I'm wondering if she was defending Richie or he was. Maybe that was the argument. She wanted to fuck him.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of crazy women that like Richie Ramirez. So, that's gone forever. So, when we did our first episode on it, and it went on YouTube, and it got like a couple hundred views or whatever at the time, way back in the day. There was someone that commented that like her like tagger name was like I love Richie or something crazy like that. And I'm not joking when there's a lot of especially women that for some reason love Richie Ramirez. It is fucking bizarre and weird. Whoops, not that one. It's not what I meant to win. Sorry, YouTube. That's not what I meant to. I should delete those. Right?
Yeah, you like that teeth? You like that rotting gum? Oh, fucking gross. It's so gross.
Halitosis, man. You're gonna keep smoking cigarettes.
Pearly whites, baby.
You do. Because all your teeth are fake.
Only
They are
one.
desires, whereas if I didn't give in to them, I would be crushed by them. I believe in the evil in human nature. This is a wicked world, and in a wicked world, wicked people are born. I'm not going to blame society, my race, or people, or anything. It is up to the individual like myself to keep on knocking on whatever door they want to get into. As far as Satan is concerned, I believe in a malevolent being. His description eludes me, but I have felt powers that are evil. I don't care about myself, really. I don't care about what happens to me. I never did, really.
It's so bizarre.
That's just not true though, because you cried when you got caught.
I know. He's acting tough.
So you cared a little bit.
He had but he's like, Satan. Yeah, I mean, he's crying over Satan, man.
You told me I wasn't gonna get caught.
Like, and he would say stuff like, "You better like hail Satan" stuff. And when he would like put guns to people's head, he made one woman. She was like, "Oh God," and he's like, "There's no God here." Like pray to Satan, essentially. Like he's a wild. Dude. Yeah, it's so crazy. And the thing is, like, I'm sure that he felt this darkness. I'm sure that he felt it when he was doing this. I believe it. I thought
you were gonna say remorse, and I'm like, what planet
no.
are you on?
No, he never felt remorse, but I do think that he felt these demonic forces. I've talked about this to everyone. Like, I'm not religious. I have a lot of friends that are Christian. For some reason, that keeps creeping into my life. For some reason, I'm like, why are you doing this? But that there is people are like, oh, there's no evidence of God, but there is evidence of evil. And if there is evil, there is good. So, like, realistically, I try to look at things objectively, and I do think there's benevolent forces that care for us or humanity or the spiritual evolution of us, and there's definitely demonic forces that will take hold of us if given the opportunity. Would you agree?
That's fair. That's fair.
So so when we think about serial killers like Ed Gein, not technically, or Arthur Shawcross, crazy case, dude, comes to mind. They were, the originators, but Ricky, like, they were like the OGs. Ricky was kind of like, he kind of took
Eminem.
Yes, he's like the, he's intimate. He's just being, he's doing his own thing, but he's copying. He's a copycat. He probably liked that. The idea, this got so much media attention. He's on Maury. Yeah. They put him on Maury. Like, how crazy is that shit, man?
It seems easy to get on shows like that now. The Cash Me Outside girl got on it.
You are not the father. Like the Hawk 2 chick, which was supposed to be, I heard some conspiracy theories about her, man. Yeah. She was an Israeli soldier.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, her dad is a billionaire, and now she's having her own new podcast. And she is Jewish. That was a fact that she. Pretty weird shit, man. Facts. She was on Howie Mandel's show, and they like showed her thing, and she's Ashkenazi, and it's like, oh wow, isn't that convenient? And then her thing got scrubbed from the internet, and supposedly she had a TikTok where she doesn't have a southern draw at all. So everything is maybe gay, but everything's definitely fake. So
anyways, let's wrap this up.
Yes, we're wrapping it up, Billy. I know you're getting tired. It's all fine. Drink some coffee, snort some heroin. It's fine. But I feel like he was interested by the blood spill and like being notorious for the fame, right? There he goes. The sunglasses and the heavy metal.
He told me to snort the heroin.
Oh, he did off air. Even today, he is infamous for tying pentagrams on his palm, flashing in the courtroom. To such behavior would be unheard of and highly ill-advanced by the criminal defense attorney. But even if I had been advised against such behavior, I suspect he would have done it and what he wanted anyway. So to simply put it, he didn't, he didn't care about the code of ethics or law. He stated to the court before he was sentenced over a loudspeaker from his cell, beyond good or I can't do it, Richie Ramirez. Beyond good or evil, play something else. Beyond good or evil, there was no remorse, no apology for the victims' families. He simply stated that there had been lies in the past, and he would be lies in the future. There would be lies in the future. We, the people, were incapable of understanding him. He said, I am beyond your experience. For many, Richie Ramirez is the original natural-born killer. You know who I am, don't you? I am the one they're writing about in the newspapers and on TV. I love Satan, he said after he says this to... So, wow. So here we go. This is all of his quotes. This just sounds more fun to do it this way. Where did Billy go? Come back here, you piece of shit. So, are you still here? I never know if you're there or not.
Yes, I'm here.
We're almost done, bro.
I just had a sneezing fit. Give me a second. I didn't want that all in the audio.
Allergies, you piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Yes, we are quite aware. We are quite aware, everyone in the chat. I know. I'm aware of that podcast. We are the dollar store version of it, according to some reject people. So I'm gonna play some of his chats. Or no, sorry, chat. So, I'm gonna say some of his quotes, okay?
Sure.
I love Satan. I've killed 20 people, man. I love all that blood. He's bragging in jail. I love to kill people. I love watching them die. I would shoot them in the head, and they would wiggle and squirm all over the place, and then they just stop. Or I'd cut them with a knife and watch their faces turn white. Hey, spitting rhymes now. I love all that blood. I told one lady to give me all her money, and she said no. So I cut her, and I pulled out her eyes. He told Deputy Sheriff Jim Ellis, "It's nothing you'd understand, but I do have something to say. In fact, I have a lot to say. But now is not the time or place. I don't know why I'm wasting my time or breath. But what the hell? As for what is said about my life, there has been lies in the past. There have been lies in the future. I don't believe in the hypocritical, moralistic dogma of this so-called civilized society. I need not to look beyond the room to see the liars and haters, the killers, the crooks, the paranoid cowards, the truly these weirdos on the earth." That's not what he said. Tormentado? I don't know what the fuck he said. Each of these own legal professions. You maggots make me sick. Hypocrites, one and all. And no one knows that better than those who kill for policy, clandestinely or openly, as do the governments which kill in the name of God and our country, or for whatever reason they deem appropriate. I do not need to hear all society's rationalizations. I've heard them before. In fact, it just remains. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm gonna play this clip, and oh, this is so funny, man. Oh, we're gonna end it on this at some point. So I'm gonna play this clip. I'm gonna find out when he died in jail as we play this clip because it's one of the most famous clips of him having an interview. And then I have a very funny thing to end this on. Okay.
Nice. Sure.
Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times. Even psychopaths have emotions if you dig deep enough, but then again, maybe they don't.
Do you have emotions, Richard?
No comment.
Tell me what kind of emotions you got going through you right now.
I'll tell you what, I gave up on love and happiness a long time ago.
Why?
I don't care to explain that. Let the quote stand for itself. People in this day and age are brainwashed and programmed like a computer at being nothing more than puppets. This nation, this country is founded in violence. Violent delights tend to have violent ends. Madness is something rare in individuals, but in groups, people, and ages, it is a rule. Killing is killing, whether done for duty, profit, or fun. Men murdered themselves into this democracy.
You're good at reading your script, Richard, but you're not much at answering my direct questions. A lot was made that you're a devil worshiper.
You worship the devil? Have you ever studied Satanism?
There are different sects of Satanism.
Have you studied, just yes or no, have you studied Satanism?
Yes, I have.
Are you a worshiper of the devil?
No comment.
Come on, Richard.
I can tell you a little bit about Satanism.
Well, I'm interested in hearing what you got to say then.
It is undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. It is power without charity. A Satanist admits to being evil.
You admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another. Are we not?
I'm asking you the question.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil. Evil has always existed. The perfect world most people seek shall never come to pass. And it's going to get worse. The great epochs of our life is when we gain the courage to rebaptize our evil qualities as being our best qualities.
Pretty crazy, man. So it's just that's why he's one of the most interesting serial killers in my opinion, and he has connections to Satanism and I think darker things than we can imagine. And I think he was connected to things like I don't know, like MK Ultra shit. I don't know. He there's some conspiracies 100% about him that at some point we might touch upon, but prisoners get ill a lot of times. They can say that it probably was cancer and a kind of heart failure or like liver disease. But sometime in early June 2013, Ramirez at the age of 53, and you can see this. So he had like girlfriends in jail.
Did you say 2018?
No. 2013.
Oh, okay.
So he had girlfriends in jail, and pretty wild. And then, he died of natural causes, waiting for the death penalty, which is like crazy.
Bogus.
It's almost like Satan gave him his like mercy, as weird as that sounds. And he took his last breath. He likely died alone. His friends and loved ones were not allowed inside. Secured room. You're shackled to your bed, and there's a guard outside the room. If the hospital staff knows that your death is imminent, they might have a nurse present. Unfortunately, most of the time, they just find the inmate dead. When they're just passing their checks, and he just died naturally. Ramirez, self-proclaimed Satan worshiper, spent 23 years on death row at the time of his death. He became the 59th California inmate to die of natural causes while waiting for execution. By most estimates,
why does it take that long? That's wild.
Crazy. Our job, but at the same time, the amount of people
20 years.
There's been a lot of people that have been murdered. Innocent people have been murdered by the death penalty. That's a fact. Many. So he would have been in his 70s probably by the time he was placed in the gas chamber. So Ramirez had never got the opportunity to give his kind of final statement, and that's why I said one of his last things at this sentencing and during court, he did say, "You don't understand me. You're not expected to. You're not capable. I am beyond your experience. I am beyond good and evil. I will be avenged." Scary shit. So here we go. We're gonna play a questionnaire with Richie Ramirez. Okay.
Let's do it.
What is his favorite sports?
What's his favorite sport?
Yeah, can you guess? There's
Basketball
3.
or soccer.
Nope. Rugby, football, and boxing.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Favorite music? This would be easy.
Rock and roll. AC/DC.
At the time, it would have been heavy metal.
That's considered heavy metal
at the time. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it was always rock and roll.
It's Satan. That's like he loves Satan shit. And
they'd always say that in the time too. They'd be like, "Rock and roll, bro."
This is so stupid. I don't know where we got this information from. I don't know if it's accurate, but this is fun. Favorite actress.
Favorite actress?
Yeah.
Who was big in the 80s?
I don't even know this chick.
70s. Well, then that seems pointless for me to guess.
Samantha Strong? I want to look her up now.
I'm not sure who that is.
Let's see if she's a good-looking lady. Let's find out. All right. I can see it, Richie. I can see it. We'll bring her up on stage. Let's see. Let's see what we have to present. Let's see. I can see it. Yeah.
All right.
That's definitely her. Look at that. You know? Why not? You know? Good looking lady.
Sure, he's got a few of her posters.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah, I've never heard of that lady either.
Favorite vacationing spot. This is a trick question because it's kind of funny. Someone must have done this with him in jail.
Florida?
Uranus.
Oh. Stupid.
This is literally, I supposedly with the questionnaire that he did. I don't know. This is a questionnaire with Richard. Richard appeared in Answer Me, issue 4. Wild. Okay, so favorite food. This is even another offshoot. Women's feet.
Oh, okay.
Favorite color. This should be easy.
Black or red?
Red. Pastime hobbies.
Killing, watching, peeping. He's a peeping Tom. Essay.
Traveling and measuring coffins. He really he really likes to like dig his feet into that persona of like bad boy. I'm a crazy fuck. You know what I mean? Biggest like.
Yeah.
Biggest
what?
Like.
Biggest like.
Yeah.
Drugs. Drugs.
Tap in the nose. Yo, cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine. Biggest dislikes.
Cops.
That's actually very good. Authority and hypocrites.
Yeah.
Make a wish.
I wish they let him go.
To have, he says, to have my finger on a nuclear trigger device.
Oh, wild.
Yeah. What do you look for in a girl?
Heartbeat. At first.
Or would
anyway.
it be no heartbeat? You know what I mean?
No, I said at first. He doesn't want someone else to kill them.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I had this sound effect. I had it.
Or submissive, probably.
He liked a great ass. Nice ass and good legs.
Oh, okay.
Great ass. It's funny that like the 80s were definitely a thing where it was definitely about the legs. I'm sorry to call it my dad, but my dad is kind of a leg man. I've asked him and he's like, he likes the legs. And I'm like, what a like, you know, most guys are ass or tits. You know,
Yeah.
Realistically, that's really what it is. You're an ass or tit guy. What do you prefer on a woman? But I remember talking to my dad one day. He's like, I actually like a chick with a nice pair of legs. I'm like, huh, it's a different one, but still valid. You know, if someone's like, I like a good navel. Yeah, and you'd be like, I can see it. So one guy's like, oh man, you know what I love?
Toes.
Yeah, toes. Yeah, there's dudes that definitely do that shit, man.
Mhm.
I like a good earlobe, you know? Or I just like the curvature of it. Can't stick out too much. Can't look at a goblin. Elf, maybe, you know?
Maybe.
So dumb. Heartbeat. Some people in the chat, man. So perfect way to spend a date. Think about what he would want to do.
I was gonna say
Not like disturbingly. Think about what he would say.
Oh, like making them cook for him.
That's actually a good point. That's very funny. Moonlight night drinking rum at a cemetery. I didn't know he's a rum guy.
Moonlight cemetery date. Wild.
I know.
Absolutely insane.
Describe yourself. Asshole and proud of it. I'd say the same thing about myself, yes.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh.
Motto.
If they got away, it's because you were too slow. Get them next time.
Got away means the gay. Live each day as if it's your last. And he definitely did that. So
Yes, he did.
if you like a girl, how do you get a girl to notice you? This is the craziest statement, man.
Forcefully.
I pull out my gun.
Yeah. So
Penis. What's one thing I know what I hate about kids nowadays is one thing I did that. I was like, I hate that kids wear their hats like this. It's not even on your head, man. fucking retards. So what's one thing you would change about yourself?
Ooh, he wishes that he had better teeth.
Not a damn thing. I
Yeah.
respect where I'm at. How has your life changed as a result of your success?
He's in prison now.
What is he? He's in the eye of the media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Privacy is a thing of the past. One more. What is your favorite message to your fans? Keep on trucking. That's not what he said. He said, keep your spirit strong. This is fun. I want to do
Wild.
Richard Ramirez justice. There's a lot of detail in this stuff. And a lot of stuff to this case. But he's just such a fascinating guy to me, you know? Just such a bizarre guy that existed and very much reveled in his sadistic behavior. Do you have one, or were you going nowhere?
Oh yeah, I got the coolest one ever too.
Here we go.
It's time for Billy's Fun Fact of the Day.
You're like, if you ever have children or grandchildren, I'd be like, man, that my uncle, my father loved to. My grandfather really liked to yell his name.
It's another animal one, but you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Wombats. What do you know about them?
Not much. I feel like I
No.
knew more about them when I was younger.
They're fucking cool. Sorry,
Okay, while
I'm
we-
trying not
while
to
I do
swear.
this, I'm gonna bring
Super
up some
cool.
Wombat.
Okay. Wombats.
Wombats.
So first off, their ass cheeks are like steel.
What?
So if they like foxes hunt wombats, so if a fox is trying to get a wombat or a coyote or whatever,
Very cute.
they can't bite through their ass. So what the wombat does is they go head first into a hole with only their ass showing out. The fox and the coyote's trying to like nip at their ass and they can't. They're not really doing anything. So
Look at this.
what
thing.
the fox will try to do, or the coyote or whatever, it will try to like squeeze beside the wombat. And as soon as it does, the wombat uses its steel ass to like crush its skull against the side of the hole.
What? What? They're very cute. Look how big this thing is. So, for all our listeners, go look up the wombat on Google. This thing is fucking like half the size of a human. It's huge.
Yeah, so their asses are steel. No, I thought that was cool.
Why? Look at it right there. You got it.
Yeah, that's how.
Why
they kill
is her butt
foxes and
steel? What,
coyotes.
who
I
who
don't
made
know.
this thing? So I'm like, are we just like a creation of aliens? Like, man, I fucking people. I was at a work party. They're all Christians. They're all like, oh, fucking God, Jesus. And I'm like, man, I don't know, man. Like, I believe that there might be an almighty being that like thought reality into creation. That could be a possibility. Who knows? But I don't tend to believe in like the fucking organized religious bullshit. And it's just like, there are some weird creatures out there that are like, man, they just seem like they were just made in a laboratory. Somebody's like, this would be cool if we crossbred this. When like everybody watching,
Yeah,
on the
honestly.
video or on the audio, look up a wombat. Who made this thing? It's like, what do you think this is a cross between? It's kind of like, I don't even know what you.
It's like a mouse and a bear.
It kind of is like a mouse and a bear. It's very weird, dude. Squirrel, bear, mouse thing.
Yeah, with buns of steel.
So weird. You have weird fun facts. It is very late. It's almost 1 a.m. Billy's time, almost midnight my time. I had fun during this episode. Everybody else did. I actually drank quite a bit considering I feel pretty cool. Wombats are very cute. Yes, they are. Thank you.
They're adorable.
They are adorable. So I just want everyone to know that we love you guys and we appreciate you guys joining us. I miss Billy being next to me. I just want to touch his face. Gonna touch it.
Wait, which side? This side? Do it again.
It's like,
Ooh, Tom.
Billy's living in a 1987 trailer. It's fun times. But everybody that watched and listened, we appreciate you. I'm debating if I'm going to combine these as one huge episode for the audio or just release them as two. We'll see what I do. Who knows? But we have a lot of stuff coming. I appreciate that. Someone's like, great show. Tony Tiger is a rapist.
Thanks, guys.
But everybody that listens and watch, please share the show with word of mouth because we are shadow banned and stuff like that. It does really help when people mention the show to people, tell their friends, their family, their grandmother, their aunt, their uncles. It's the best way to get it out there. We have a Patreon where you can listen to the OG episode of this, 50 minutes. It was very short, actually. So I wanted to do Richard Ramirez justice a lot to this case. I'm glad we've got him out of the way, and now we can get back to some other fuckers. So
Take
everybody,
care, guys.
yeah,
And we
love
will
you.
talk soon.
Yeah. Au revoir.